Okay, so if we have just the square root of 36, what this is saying is to find two numbers, or a number times itself that will get us 36. So we have two options here. I could get 6 times 6, which would get me 36, or negative 6 times negative 6, which would give me 36. So this answer could be positive or negative 6. So we say plus or minus 6. But let's say that we had this. Well, here the square root means a number times itself. But the only way to get negative 36 would be to get 6 times negative 6, which technically is not the same number because one is positive and one is negative. Therefore, you cannot take the square root because square root means they have to be the same. So this is where we introduce what are called imaginary numbers. So we know it's 6, but one of them's positive, one of them's negative, so we'd say 6i. And that just makes it an imaginary, which basically just means if you have the square root, meaning an invisible 2, and it's a negative, you're just going to take out an I. So if I had the square root of negative 81, that would be 9i. Okay, so let's go through and do some of them. So we write these in form of a plus bi. So whatever is attached to the I is b, and then whatever's alone. So it could be like 6 plus 5i. So here, this would be the real part, and this would be the imaginary part. So you could negative 7 plus 2/3 I. So 2/3 would be imaginary, and negative 7 is real. So just whatever's attached to the I is your imaginary number. Okay, so if we have something like this, let's try 5 minus 2i over 9. So right here, really if 9 is on bottom, then this is like saying 5/9 minus 2/9. So 5/9 would be the real, and negative 2/9 would be the imaginary. So that's how it is on the first part. And then, oh, I guess I already kind of did numbers 11 through 24 for you, but let me try, what if you have something like this? So square root of negative 24. So 24 isn't a perfect square. So we're going to do our little factor tree and see if we have any gang members that can come out. So we have 4 and 6. That goes down to 2 and 2, which are prime. This goes down to 2 and 3, which are prime. So we're looking for buddies of 2, because if there's nothing there, it's an invisible 2. So 1, 2. So 1, 2 gets to come out. And there aren't any more buddies. So 2 times 3 is 6. So 6 goes back in. But to account for the negative, we just write an I right after 2. So it's just 2i root 6. And that's it. So let's try number 25. I'm going to do it right here. Actually, let's do 26. It's easier to read. 2x minus 8yi equals negative 2 plus 4yi. Okay, so it says to solve these for x and y. Okay, so first let's solve for x. So if we are to solve this for x, then I would first add 8yi, and there's an yi over here, so I'm going to add it to this yi. So then I have 2x equals negative 2 plus 12yi, and then divide everything by 2. So then we're going to get x equals negative 1 plus 6yi. And that's how you would just do those ones. You're just trying to get x alone, and then let's get y alone. So I'm going to rewrite it again. I'm going to go over here though. 2x minus 8yi equals negative 2 plus 4yi. Okay, so we're going to get the y's alone. So I can move that back over again. So we got right here 2x equals negative 2 plus 12yi. Okay, and then I'm trying to get y alone, so I'm going to add 2 over. equals 12yi. And then I'm just going to have to divide by 12i. Which 2 can come out of all of those. So it goes in once, and 6 times. So then we'd have x plus 1 over 6i equals y. And that's my understanding of what you'd have to do for 11 through, or not 11 through 24. What numbers are those? 25 through 38. That's all I would think. And then 42 through, I think it's 60. Let's just do some of those. So actually I'm gonna, let's do 42 to start off. So this is a minus. So then we just distribute the negative to both of those. Minus 6 minus 2i. And once you have put that, then you don't need parentheses anymore. Now we just combine like terms. So negative 3 and minus 6 are like terms, so that makes negative 9. 2i and minus 2i, that's just 0, so then our answer is just negative 9. Okay, let's do a little bit tougher one. Let's do 55. So we have 13 minus 3 root negative 16 plus 2 minus 4 root negative 1. Okay, so first, negative 16 root negative 16 root negative 1, I can simplify. So this negative 16 is going to be 4i because it's negative, so then that means I, and root 16 is just 4. Okay, root negative 1, that's going to give me an I, and root 1 is just 1, so it's like an invisible 1, I. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this, and I'm going to multiply those by each other. So I'm going to have 13 minus 3 times 4 is 12i plus 2 minus 4i. And then I distributed the plus to both of those so it doesn't change them. So now I just have it all as 1. Okay, so now if I have like terms, 13 plus 2 is 15. Negative 12i minus 4i is negative 16i. And that's it. Let me take a look. I think that that's really as hard as it gets. Yeah, and then it just has 3 of them. So that doesn't change anything about it. So for like 59, we have 7 plus 3i plus 2 minus 4i minus 6 minus 5i. So really just this negative gets distributed. So we have negative 6 plus 5i. Plus doesn't change anything, so it's just plus 2 minus 4i. 7 plus 3i. So we just combine like terms. So 7 plus 2 is 9. Minus 6 is 3. And then all the i's. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Plus 5 is positive 4i. And that's it.